Welcome to another edition of Season 23 of RGV Stars, live with Alex Arabia and Isaac Medina. Remember, RGV Stars is
the premier platform for showcasing Rio Grande Valley talent,
and the RGV Celebrities Place to Be. Celebrities and actors like Mathieu Caviness. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
On RGV Stars. And today our viewers will have the chance to get to know more about you.
Yes, sir.
Your education, your background, why this interest in acting, achievements, obstacles, future goals, current projects, and anything else that you want to share. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
We're super excited to have you, Mathieu. So tell us what you do full time, what got you started in acting, and where you're from.
So right now I'm a full-time actor and, well, also writer and director. I recently just started writing a new project called The Struggle, and I've been all over the entirety of Texas on different projects. So I think it's a little insight into it.
Since you were a kid, is this something you always wanted to be an actor, or when did that dream start for you?
So I started with high school theater, and then I was like, seems pretty interesting after a while, because I got tricked into it. They were like, well, you're not auditioning, you're just going to read for it. And then you got the role. So I was like, okay. So I was originally going to be an aerospace engineer. I had multiple different applications to be a, like an assistant, the kind of, what are they called?
An associate engineer?
Something like that, yeah. So it was an intern. There you go, an intern. It was an internship to NASA and an internship to SpaceX. So I ended up declining those because, of course, having to go to the rehearsals, having to go back and forth of acting and stuff like that. So I eventually just went completely into acting.
Wow. So how many years have you been doing this?
So far, I think about 3.5 years.
3.5 years.
Wow.
And aside from acting, you also are a writer,
yes,
right? Do you enjoy one more than the other, one role more than the other?
I think I enjoy acting a lot more. Writing is not my strong suit. I never had really good essays either. I'd put everything I caught into a paper and then well, that doesn't seem right. So acting's a little bit better.
And also for a while, you've been kind of one of the faces of STC, South Texas College. I'm a professor there for
really?
psychology. Yes.
It's cool.
And I've seen you there on the website, right? You were part of that campaign with the new logo and the new transformation.
I was originally a part of the original logo. I was put on the billboards and then all of the digital boards, stuff like that, until they asked me, well, you did so good last time, why not just bring you back? So they brought me back, and now I'm on the new logos. Yeah, now I have the new logo, the new graduate posters, stuff like that. So it's really interesting to see.
How did that opportunity come about originally? Like, were you a student?
So in high school, they have a early college program. So I got an email, and it was just an open, like, we're looking for students, whether they're in high school, whether they're graduated, to come and just audition. So I went, I gave them my headshots, gave them my info. Eventually they're like, well, you don't have to come in into audition. I think you're good. So they sent me a location. I showed up, took some pictures, and there's my face.
Wow.
It's really weird. It's really weird.
And also, I know that you do workshops, right? Acting workshops. One of my nephews, Asael, went to one of those workshops recently in FAR. How is that experience for you, like helping the youth achieve their goal and their dream?
So starting out from a really young age, it was really hard to kind of grasp what acting really was. I thought it was super easy just to go in and read lines and do this and do that, until then you get into, okay, so I actually have to learn how to act. So that's something that caught me off guard. Like, you can go through training? So then you can train for everything else. And then I became a stunt actor. I did all these things. But with the workshops, I was really happy to volunteer with Pedro Garcia. So,
who we've had on the show.
Yes.
Great guy.
Really good friend of mine. It's really nice volunteering to help the youth, especially starting from a really young age.
Yes.
So.
And when it comes to being the bad guy or the good guy, do you have a preference in your roles that they give you, or even in the genre, like comedy versus horror versus drama?
So I think I've done a little bit of everything. When I was on 1923, Yellowstone, that one just came out. I was a deckhand right next to my buddy. His name is let me see. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to butcher his name, but he was Luca. He was really nice to me. I know there's some rules, you know, don't talk to the actors, don't mess with them, stuff like that. But me and him kind of just started talking. His name is Andy Dispensa. I got it right there. I was like, I remember how to say it. And Brandon Sklenar, I think that's how you say it. They're really cool dudes. I'm really happy to be a part of their scene. But I was just like part of the winning team, so to say, of the main fight. But being a bad guy or good guy is not really my thing. I'm just there to do my job.
So is it hard memorizing or?
Not really. Speaking of Pedro Garcia, I learned a lot from him. So I learned how to memorize a lot easier when I first started with the FAR Community Theater. So right out of high school, I decided I wanted to try acting out. So instead of high school theater, I did the community. And we probably made one of the most selling shows called Patricio el Penitente. And from there, I learned so much from him. Like, it was nice having him as my mentor, especially knowing his background. It was so cool.
Like, what's one of the strategies to improve the memorization?
So there's a technique called the Meisner technique, where you say the line in many different ways. But I remember a teacher of mine in 4th grade told us that in order for something to be put into your head, you have to have it repeated multiple times. So if you're going through the lines multiple times, say them every different way that you can, then you're finally going to find that balance, and eventually it's just going to flow out like you're that person and this is exactly what I'm going to say, instead of having to wait for someone's cue or waiting for someone to say something specific. It's just being natural with it.
And any role that they would give you think you would be able to do it, or would you have a hesitation for a particular role?
There's been a bit of roles that I've been like, well, I don't know if I could do that, and then eventually I'm like, that wasn't that bad. In high school theater, I played.
I will take out my bets.
So in high school theater, I played a 35-year-old man on a stage show called Over the River and Through the Woods. I was an Italian middle-aged guy, like having to deal with his grandparents all the time. And then I went from one of my first films called, let me see, Ella Baila Sola. Very first indie film I've ever done, and it was all Spanish. I knew absolutely nothing of Spanish, but it was a cartel and all sorts of stuff going on. But I was like, I don't know Spanish. How am I supposed to do this? And they're like, you got this, you're good. And I was like, okay. So
and you were able to do it.
And I knew what to do.
Yes.
And how important has your family support been in your life? I know sometimes when your parents, ask you what you want to do, like, yeah, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a teacher, and then when you say, I want to be an actor, how has that chemistry been with your family?
So from the start, like I said, I wanted to be an aerospace engineer. I got my junior pilot's license with NASA, so now I can fly drones and stuff like that. Then I went into going into college with that. But then when I got into acting, they were like, are you sure you want to be an actor? But then I was like, well, I mean, we act every day. It's not that, different from normal day to day. It's just like auditioning is a lot different than having to go into a job interview. But they've been really supportive. I've had a lot of people behind me, really happy and really proud of me, all over the world too, all different family, coming from up east, from France, from down here, all over the place. I've been supported. So I think that's something that's really good to have as family.
Awesome.
Do you have any upcoming projects that you're working on?
Right now, I have one called Evil Inheritance. That one is something that's been in production right now. I have the role for that one. It's really cool. I'm working on a project of my own called The Struggle. It is about 3 teenagers who live different lives, have different things going on with them, but all go to the same school. And they have no clue of each other. So it's kind of opening closed doors of what happens in the home, what affects kids these days. So it's more of a biography of what I've seen personally in school, out of school, to people my age. So that's something that I've been working on as well.
Has it been a struggle?
I know, right? Especially when I said I'm not good at writing. Yeah, it was a struggle.
What advice would you give to someone who maybe wants to pursue a full-time career in acting?
Well, one thing is don't let anybody put you down, especially when it comes to your age, what you look like, your height, something like that. I've been told so many different times, like so many different people, like, you wouldn't fit it because you don't look the part. You wouldn't do this because you're not tall enough. You don't weigh enough, or maybe you're overweight, or, you know, it's all sorts of different things. But as long as you find the things that really connect with who you are, so maybe you won't fit in the size 12 pants over here because maybe it's like a Nike Fit commercial, but you could fit in over here at this other one. So it's a lot of, you know, trial and error, finding your balance, finding your peace, and not letting anything bother you.
Yeah, that's great advice.
It's a part of the job, you know.
Where do you see yourself in the future? Future goals, 5 to 10 years from now?
So for one, definitely going back to 1923. Definitely going back to Walker, definitely going back to Landman, you know, going back to all those films. I had so much fun doing them, but in reality, I'd like to keep it to where I just take this baby steps. I don't want to go from, in 5 years, be an all crazy A-lister movie star. Everyone wants that, but I think it's better to take the easier approach, take it simple, not get too complicated.
Well, why is that?
Because I think it's a lot better to take it at your own pace rather than try to force it. So if I have a goal in 5 years that I'm going to be an A-lister star, I can try my best to reach that goal. But if I don't reach it in 5 years, well then how would that affect me? You know, it's better to, I'm going to be an A-lister one day. I'm not going to force myself to be that right now and have this five-year process of I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take it as I'm going to do my best, and what my best is just how I can do it.
Great. A closing remark, a closing message for the fans, the viewers of RGV Stars.
Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Keep believing, keep dreaming, keep the creative thoughts flowing, because you never know when something might happen and you want to put something onto a film, you want to be a part of a project. Try it out. Everything's available, everything's new. Give yourself the chance to find what you love truly, because I found out that behind the camera is also really fun compared to being in front of it, but I prefer to be in front of it. Some people that I knew were in front of it, but they love being behind it. You know, it's always trying something new all the time.
Awesome.
Well, we wish you the best. More success, more blessings in your future.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, of course. I loved it. It was great.
Awesome. And this was another edition of Season 23 of RGV Stars, live with Alex Sarabia and Isaac Medina. Remember, RGV Stars is
the premier platform for showcasing Rio Grande Valley talent.
And the RGV Celebrities Place to Be. Until next time.
Until next time.